Assalamu alaikum students, this is your physics teacher Ms. Fatma. In the last video lecture we have covered the topics of equation of motion. We have discussed the three equation of motion, the first, second and third equation of motion, and from these equation of motion we have derived three different formulas. Alright, the first formula is, let me give you a quick review of what we have done in the last video lecture. The first equation of motion is Vf is equals to Vi plus At, where Vf is the final velocity, Vi is the initial velocity, and A is acceleration and T is the time. For second equation of motion, the formula we have is S is equals to Vi T plus 1 upon 2 At square. S for displacement, Vi for initial time, acceleration and time square. And for third equation of motion, we have the formula of 2as is equals to Vf square minus Vi square, right? So these are the three equations of motion that we have derived. Now coming towards the next topic of motion under gravity. You all must be familiar with the idea of what is gravity. If not, let me give you a review about this. Gravity is basically the attraction which Earth possessed on the body towards itself. I'm going to drop this marker. This marker is always going towards downward. Whenever I'm going to drop anything, it always go downward. So there is something which attracts the body towards itself, which attracts the body towards the earth, and that is gravity, right? So here all the bodies, irrespective of their weight, no matter what the weight of this body is, if the weight of this tape is more than this marker, but when I'm going to drop them, they are going to touch the ground at the same time and at the same level, right? So it was found by a scientist named as Galileo. He says that all the bodies, irrespective of their weights, are attracted by the same acceleration. They possess the same acceleration, and the acceleration they possess during their downward fall is A is equals to 9.8 meter per second square. All those bodies which are in the motion towards the earth, or which are falling free towards the earth, possess the acceleration of 9.8 meter per second square. So to summarize it and to find the equation of motion, with respect to the motion of the gravity, the first equation of motion is going to turn like this. Vf will remain Vf is equals to Vi, and this acceleration will turn towards G and T. Here only two changes will occur in all of these equations. First change is the acceleration will be denoted as G, that is for gravity, because all the bodies which are falling free from a height will experience a force which is called gravity, and the value of gravity is 9.8 meter per second square. And then the distance, the displacement will be written as height. Obviously there would be the involvement of height in this scenario. So wherever we have A or wherever we have S, we are going to replace it with G and H if the case is of motion under gravity, or if a body is falling from a height. So the second equation of motion is going to turn like S is going to be H IT plus 1 upon 2 GT square. And for the third equation, 2GH is equals to Vf square minus Vi square. This is the first equation under the gravity, the second and the third. Alright, there is a condition when the value of A, that is G, will be positive or negative. For an observer on the surface of earth, upward direction is usually taken as positive, but if g is being downward, the value of g is negative, that is minus 9.8 meter per second square. Let me explain it with an example. As you can see from here, the example, they have given you an example. A ball is dropped from the tower. It reaches the ground in 10 seconds. It is dropped from the tower, means the height is included in this situation. Reaches the ground in 10 seconds. How much time it is taking? It is taking the 10 seconds. This is the time, and here they have mentioned, they have given you the idea, the situation that a ball is getting dropped from the tower, means it is a motion under the gravity. Calculate the height of the tower. What you need to calculate the height of the tower, and how I am going to represent the height with h, and the velocity with which it hits the ground. And they are asking to find us the velocity with which it hits the ground, means we have to find the final velocity, the end velocity with which it will hit the ground. So if we make the data of this numerical, the things we have are the first thing, they have said the ball is dropped from the tower. So initially the ball is at rest, so the initial velocity of that ball is 0 meter per second. Alright, and let's say it reaches the ground in 10 seconds. The time required is 10 seconds. And what you need to calculate, what is the requirement? The requirement is you need to calculate the height of the tower, and you need to calculate the final velocity. Alright, so among these three formulas, which formula suits the best? Before jumping to the solution, make sure that all the data is given in standard form. The standard unit of velocity is meter per second, correct. The standard unit of time is second, correct. You don't need to convert. Make sure you need to check at the very initial point that whether these data are given in the standard form and standard units or not. Alright, so look at these three formulas, first, the second, the third. What they have given the initial velocity, okay, and they have given us the time. We need to find out the final velocity. We can use the first equation of motion to find out the final velocity. Alright, so using the first equation of motion, that is Vf is equals to Vi plus Gt, and it is understood that the value of G in the case here is, what is the value of G? That is minus 9.8 meter per second square. Either you can say 9.8 or you can round it off like 10 meter per second square with the minus sign. Why with the minus sign? Because the motion of ball is towards the downward direction. When the ball is moving towards the downward direction, the value of G will be negative, and if it's moving away from the and it is moving against the gravity, then the value will be of positive G. So as it is moving towards the G, then the value is negative. So let us put the values. Vf is equals to, we have to find out Vf, the value of G, the value of Vi, the value of G, and value of P. Make sure to always make structures like this, so it would be quite easier for you to put the values. The value of Vi is 0, the value of G is minus 10, the value of time is 10. Alright, the 0 will remain the thing, right? Then plus minus 10 multiplied by 10 would be equals to 100 meter per second. So the final velocity that comes from this data is 100 meter per second. alright, with negative sign. So the next thing we need to find out is the height. What we need to find out is height. So for the height, which formula we can use? We have two equations in which the height is involved, the second and the third one. Now look at these. If I am going to put in the second one, I can find whether I can find h from here or not. H is unknown, alright, and make sure, always remember that from one equation only one unknown variable can be found out. If there is an equation in which two unknowns are present, then we are not able to find these two unknowns from the same equation. For one equation only one unknown can be found out. Now h is equals to h, we don't have h, we need to find out h. Vi, we already know that. T, they have already given us. We need the value we have the value of g, we know t. We can use the second equation motion. Now let's just this third equation. We have 2 is the constant, we have g, we can find h, we have vf, and we have I2. So we can use both of the equation, either 2 or 3. From the both equation we only have one unknown, that is h. So I will show you by doing both the equations. You can either use the second or you can either use the third one. Using second equation of motion, h is equals to vit plus 1 upon 2 gt square. The h is unknown, place it there. Vit plus 1 upon 2 gt square. The value of vi is 0, the value of t is 10, the value of g is minus 10, the value of t is 10. Alright, then 10 multiplied by 0, anything which get multiplied by 0, it becomes 0. 0 plus 1 upon 2 minus 10, the square of 10 is 10 multiplied by 10 is 1000. 10 multiplied by 10 is 100. Alright, now when I am going to simplify it more, what is going to become? Minus 1000. Then divide the both things, the value will be, the h is equals to minus 500, and the standard unit of distance, the height, is meters. Alright, so this is the answer we got from the second equation of motion. Now by using third equation of motion, the third equation of motion is 2gh equals to vf square minus vi square. We need to find the value of h, so isolate the h from the rest of the values. H is equals to vf square minus vi square upon 2g. Then h is equals to, the value of vf is minus 100, we can use this value, and the value of vi is 0, then 2, and then minus 10. Alright, then h is equals to, the square of 100 is 10,000, and the minus will become positive. So the square of 100 is minus the square of 0 is always 0. Alright, then minus 5 to the 20, cutting 0 from here, 2 1 the 2, to 500 the 1000. The value of h is minus 500 meters. So using both the equation we got the same answer, that is minus 500 meters. So you can either use this one or you can either use this one. Okay, so what is the result of this example? The result of this example is that the negative shows that the ball is moving towards the ground or in the downward direction, and the height of tower is 500 meters. Acha, the negative sign is showing that it is towards the downward direction. But remember one thing, height can never be in minus. Obviously, if I say that the height of this pen is 10 centimeters, I can't say that the height of this pen is minus 10 centimeter. It doesn't make any sense. But here the minus sign is only showing that that the ball is moving in the downwards direction. So when I'm going to write the answer of this, I can say that the height of tower is 500 meters and the velocity of ball is 100 meter per second. All right. Now, moving towards the example problem of this book. Okay, class, remember one thing, in the end of each and every chapter they have given you the short summary. Always make an habit to give it a read or give it a review of this summary, because this summary actually give you a brief idea or the brief explanation that what you have studied or what you have learned in the whole chapter, like the definition, there are few small definitions and the formulas that they have written. Now coming towards the problems, the problem of this book chapter, the first problem is, I will do the one or two problems, right, of each category. Like there are the few of velocity, there are few of acceleration, there are few of equation of motion, and the rest of the problems you have to done by yourself and send it to me within this week, so I can check whether you have got the idea or not. And if you have any problem in this regard, you can ask me. Now class, coming towards the first problem of this chapter, the problem number 3.1, that is on page number 44. Hurry up, just make the data. So the first thing, in the first numerical, let's just give it a read. Find the time taken by sunlight to reach the ground. We need to find the time taken by the sunlight which is required to reach the ground if the distance between the sun and the earth, they have given us the distance between the sun and the earth is 1.5 exponent 8 kilometers. Remember the unit kilometer, it is not in standard unit, we need to convert into the standard unit. The velocity of light is 3 exponent 8 meter per second. This is the standard speed or velocity of light, right? This thing is usually asked in the MCQ, so keep in mind the velocity of light is 3 exponent 8 meter per second square. So making data, what they have given me the distance, the s, that is 1.5 exponent 8 kilometers. This is in kilometers, but the standard unit of distance is not kilometer, it is meters. So we need to convert the kilometer into meters. And how? 1 kilometer is equals to 1000 meters. So the kilometer is getting converted into meters. From this bigger unit we are going to into smaller unit, so what we need to do, we need to do multiplication. I have already explained this conversion in chapter number 2, so if you haven't watched the lectures of chapter number 2, go and watch the lectures of chapter number 2. These are very important because in throughout all the chapters we need to do different conversion and you must know how to do the conversions. Now 1.5 exponent 8 multiplied by 1000, either I can write it as 1000 or I can write it at 10 exponent 10 power cube or 10 power 3 meters, right? 10 exponent 3. When I'm going to multiply 1.5 same because it doesn't have the same, and the exponent 8. When the bases are same, the powers are added. 1.5 exponent 11 meters. So the distance is 1.5 exponent 11 meters. Alright, and what else they have given? They have given the speed of velocity of light, that I am going to write it like v is equals to 3 exponent 8 meter per second. It is in the standard unit which you all need to convert it down. And what is the requirement of this numerical? The requirement of this numerical is we need to find out the time, and it must be in second. So for doing the solution, now just give a quick review that how many formulas we have studied in this chapter. The formula that we are going to use is of velocity or speed, that is v is equals to s upon t. Alright, the value of v is 3 exponent 8 is equals to value of s is 1.5 exponent 11. The value of t is unknown. The here t is in division, and from that side when I am going to take it, it is going to in multiplication, and this is in multiplication and is going to come in division. T is equals to, it is basically the simple maths, and I guess you can easily do it. Now what I need to do is I just need to simply divide it. Alright, how I am going to divide it? I am going to divide 1.5 with 3. Let me make it quite more easier for you. 1.5 divided by 3, and for the exponent thing, when the exponent are in division, the power, when the bases are same and they are in division, the power becomes in minus. It gets subtracted basically. Then 1.5 divided by 3 is 0.5, and 11 minus 8 is 3. So the time is 0.5 exponent 3 second. Obviously it doesn't make any sense that 0.5 into exponent 3 second. I want to make it in the minutes or something. I need to actually eliminate this part of the exponent form, the scientific notation. What I am going to do is, as you know that exponent 3 means 1000. Alright, when I am going to multiply 0.5 with 1000, I am going to get what? 500. So it is 500 seconds. Either I can keep my answer as simple as this, or if you need to convert into minutes and seconds, you can either do it like this. So the answer of this is t is equals to 8 minutes per 20 seconds. As you know that in 1 minute there are 60 seconds, right? And in 8 minutes there are almost 480 seconds and 20 seconds remaining. So I am going to write it like 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So coming towards the next problem, that is problem number 3.2. And this is problem, the situation which is given to us is of a person hears this echo, or the sound of its own echo from a distance hill. So in questions like this, now first let's extract the data. What they have given, they said a person hears the echo of his own sound from a distance hill after 2 seconds. After 2 seconds, it has given you the total time. I will explain it a moment later. What does it mean? It has given you a total time after 2 seconds. So in the case of echo, when a person heard its sounds, his own sound, the total sound is the accumulation or the addition of the both time of both distances. The time that the sound takes to travel from a person to the object, and the time which is required to turn it back from the object to the listener. So the total time is 2 seconds. Let's suppose if 1 second, for example, if it takes 1 second to sound to travel from a person to a distant hill and 1 second to come back, so the total time is basically the 2 seconds. And what we need to find out, we need to find out how far the person is from hill, right? And this, if the speed of sound is, they have given us the speed of sound, that is v is equals to, look at the unit, that is 300 meter per second. All right, the required is, we need to find out how far the person is, that is we need to find out the distance, that how far the person is. So for the solution, the formula, what formula we are going to use? The formula in which we can find out distance when we have the time and when we have the velocity. Same formula is of velocity, that is v is equals to s upon t. Alright, what we need to find out is s, making s in one side and turning t towards the second side and making it linear. T is equal, v multiplied by t is equals to s. What you need to do is you need to simply put the value of v multiplied by t. Make sure that all the units are given in the standard form. The standard unit of time is second, it is given. The standard unit of velocity is meter per second square. Here the total time, but we don't need the total time, we need to find out the distance, that how far the person is away from the hill. Now look at here, how far is he is standing from the hill, that only requires the one way of the time, that is t is equals to 1 second. We need to find out just the distance between the person and the hill, that is one way track. So the time would be half of the given time, that is 1 second. So here 300 multiplied by 1, very simple, 300 meter per, 300 meters is the answer, 330 meters is the answers. Alright class, now moving towards the next one. For the next one, I am just going to make the data of this numerical, and rest of the numerical you have to run by yourself. A car is moving with a velocity of 36 kilometers per hour. They have given you the velocity, but the unit is here kilometers per hour. This is not the standard unit. What we need to convert? We need to convert the kilometer per hour into meter per second, and is brought to the rest in 5 seconds. Calculate the deceleration. When I was explaining the topic of acceleration, I have also mentioned the word deceleration or retardation. When the body is, or the object is getting slower, or it's losing its acceleration, and we can term it as deceleration. So here we have to find out deceleration, and whenever we are going to find out the deceleration, the answer would come in the negative form, which actually shows that the body is getting slow or getting deaccelerated. So here they have given you the velocity, the moving with velocity of 36 kilometer per hour. It is moving with this velocity, so this velocity is the initial velocity, or 36 kilometer per hour. The first thing we need to convert is kilometer per hour into meter per second, and 1 kilometer is equals to 1000 meter, and for conversion of hour, in 1 hour there are how many minutes? There are 60 minutes, and 60 minutes, how many seconds are there? There are 60 seconds. So to convert the hour into seconds, we need to multiply 60 into 60, that would be 3600 seconds. So in 1 hour there would be 3600 seconds. So how I am going to do it? If I am going to write it like this way, kilometer per hour, and when I am going to convert it, multiply it from kilometer to meter, that is bigger unit, and the meter is smaller unit, we need to multiply it by 1000, and for hour, as it is in denominator, we need to multiply it in denominator, that is 3600. Simplify it, cut 2 zeros with this 0, 36 1 the 36, and what is left is only 10 meter per second. All right, so the initial velocity is 10 meter per second. And then he said it comes to the rest. It comes to the rest means the final velocity is 0. Rest means it has now stopped. And they have given you the time in 5 seconds. They have given in the standard unit. You don't need to convert it at all. And what we need to find out, we need to find out the deceleration, that we are going to represent it with the same simple as A, but the answer would be in negative. It shows that the body is getting deaccelerated. All right then, doing the numerical, this all is the data, and now, and this is the requirement. Oh, I just forgot to mention it. This is the requirement and this is the data. For the solution, let's just quickly give it a review in your mind that what formula we can use. From the equation of motion, like we are supposed to use the equation of motion. Why? Because in the equation of motion we have the initial velocity, final velocity, distance and acceleration. So which of these numeric equation we can use? This one, or this one? If we are going to use this one, we have the VF, alright, we know the VI, alright, we can find out the acceleration from here, we have the time, we can perfectly use this equation of motion. If it comes towards the second equation of motion, we don't have S, and S is neither required. We have VI, we have T, we need to find A, but in this equation we have two unknowns, and I just mentioned previously that in the one equation we can't find two unknowns from the one equation. Now moving towards this one, same is the case, we don't have the S, we don't have the A, so we can't use the third equation and the second equation, because in the both equations we have the two unknowns in each equation, and and the only one unknown can be find out from the one equation. So using first equation of motion, that is Vf is equals to Vi plus 1 upon Vf is equals to Vi plus 80. But just you need to put all the values and just find out the answer. You have to do it by yourself. They have given you answer right here, and try to match it down if it comes correct or not. Now the next one is the same, and find the acceleration. You need to find out the A from a body whose velocity is increasing from 11 meter per second to 33 meter per second. Means the 11 meter per second is the initial velocity and 33 meter per second is final velocity in the time period of t. It is as simple as this. You can either use the first equation and find out the answer of acceleration. Now the next one, a body starting from the rest requires the velocity of 10 meter per second. It is starting from the rest, means the initial velocity will be Vi should be 0, and acquires the velocity of 10 meter per second, and this is the final velocity in the time period of 5 seconds. You need to find out two things here. The first one is acceleration, the second one is the distance between the body covered in 5 seconds. Here we have to find out the A, here we have to find out the distance, which is S. Now the next numerical. In next numerical word we have a car starts from the rest. As it is starting from the rest means the initial velocity is 0, and after 20 seconds, that is time, the velocity becomes 108 kilometer per hour. That is final velocity, and they have given you in it kilometer per hour. So what you need to do is you need to convert this kilometer per hour in meter per second, as I have done it right here, I guess. Yeah, like in this way. Fine, do convert it and find the acceleration. Now the next one. So the next one is the velocity of a motorcycle increases by the acceleration of 2 meter per second and becomes 20 meter per second in 5 seconds. Find the initial velocity of the car. They have said that a motorcycle has increases acceleration, means this is the acceleration, and its acceleration becomes what it becomes 20 meter per second. This is the final acceleration in 5 seconds. What you need to find out? You need to find out the initial acceleration of the car. So simple. Use the equation of motion, you can find it out. So the next one is a bus is moving with a velocity of 72 km per hour. Again, is moving with the velocity means this is the initial velocity, that is 72 km per hour, and you need to convert 72 km per hour into meter per second. On the application of the brake means it is getting deaccelerated. It stops. It stops means the final velocity becomes 0. After covering a distance of 500 meters, how much distance it covered? It has covered a distance of 500 meters. Calculate the deacceleration produced by the brakes. That's it. Now the next one is a car starting from the rest attains a velocity of 20 meters per second. Starts from the rest means the initial velocity is 0, and attains a velocity means that the final velocity is 20 meters per second. And how much time? In 5 seconds. Find the distance covered by the time. You need to find out the S covered by the car. So the next one is a stone is dropped from the tower. Like here we have the situation that in which a stone is dropped from the tower means this is the situation, or this is the condition of motion under the gravity that we have just learned about it. A stone is dropped from the tower and takes 5 seconds to reach the ground. As it is dropped from the tower, so means initial velocity is 0, and after 5 seconds it reaches the ground. What do you need to calculate? You need to calculate the height of the tower, and where g is 10 meters per second square. Height is actually s, and you need to convert. There is no need to calculate vf actually in this case. Alright, now coming towards the next one, that is a boy throws a ball with a velocity of 20 meters per second. Find the time elapsed between the throwing and the catching. We need to find the total time elapsed between the throwing and the catching, the total time when the ball is thrown with the velocity of 20 meters per second. So it means the 20 meters per second is the initial velocity, as the velocity from which the ball is thrown, right? And we need to find the total time, the time it requires to throw and it requires to catch it again. Like let's suppose this is a ball, I am going to throw it and catch it again. So the time required which is required to throw and catch it, we need to find the total time. Alright, so in this equation what we need to do is we need to find time and then add time twice. So the next one is the stone is thrown vertically upward with a velocity of 20 meters per second. Thrown upward vertically 20 meters per second. So this is basically the initial velocity, and it's thrown upward and it's moving against the gravity. So the value of g would be in minus. Find the maximum height reaches the stone and the total time of flight. We need to find out the maximum height, that is h, and the total time of flight, that is again the time in which it goes up and comes down. So the next one is a stone is dropped from the height of 40 meters. That is the height, that is the h, and we need to find the two things. The first thing is how much time will it take to reach the ground. The only one time left, and with what velocity it will strike the ground, means we need to find out the final velocity with which it hits the ground. So I have explained these numericals verbally, and I have made you to solve and I have solved these three numericals. These numericals are very easy, right? Do these numericals within this week, and let me know if you find any difficulty in doing these numericals. Thank you so much, class. Stay home, stay safe.